I don't know.
Not
I
dumb
am.
as a
Why you
rock.
doing? Why you,
Not a dumb as a rock.
Yeah, that's a little too
absolutely,
dumb. But look, check this
absolutely.
out. Just FYI, people in the chat, if you have a child who's struggling at math, one thing that can help math is homework. You have to do math every single night. You have to. You cannot skip on that homework because if you do it, when you learn it and you do it that night, you remember for the next day. If you do it that night, remember for it's when you skip the homework. Like math is the one subject you cannot not have homework. You have to have homework in math. You have to.
Mm.
So I just wanted to throw that out there as a former interrelated math teacher.
And if you're in college, I would say if you get to pick your classes and stuff in college. That's the good thing about college. So I would say if you're black and you're in college and you have to take math courses, try to find the black professors. Um, Seriously though, because you don't want to if you're already struggling with it, you don't want to get hindered by language barriers. Right. That was one of the things I had an issue with. This lady was from the Middle East and she up there, we picked the 3, the 40, it, bit it. I'm like, bro, it's already hard for me to deal with the math. Then I got to deal with your language barrier too. I wrote like a 7-page I don't know what you call it, a dissertation or something. Like I wrote like a long 7-page letter that ended up at the dean of students. It went through a lot of hands and it ended up at the dean of students because I was complaining like, look, we don't know that it's the reason why we in math 99. It's not even a college course, right? Like we in math 99 because we don't know this math. So you can't stand in here and condescend us for not knowing it when literally our ignorance is perpetuating your check. So
Well,
shut
well,
up and
the
teach
the
us.
the problem with that is, unfortunately, when you're on a college level, most colleges hire PhDs or EDDs, and a lot of us don't go to school to get a PhD in EDD in mathematics. So they're going to give it to the person who does because that ties into accreditation.
Hold
Okay,
on.
how many professors you have that have a higher education ties into to that.
I know
So
I know what a PhD is, but I thought EDD was like erectile dysfunction dudes.
shut up. A doctor of education. I'm done. I'm done with this whole.
Nah,
So
but
listen,
listen, I wanted to say something. It was something y'all was saying earlier that I wanted to respond to as well. I can't remember what it was. I think I'm gonna go back and look. It was something that was said. I was like, oh no, that's I don't agree with that. It had some. I'm gonna go back and look at it though. Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It just has ties in being accredited, the
Do you
accreditation.
believe in tenure?
Huh? Yeah. I mean, whether I believe in it or not, it's so
But
scary.
I'm asking your opinion. Like, do you think tenure is fair to students?
Um, so what's your problem with it? What's your issue? So
A lot of people, I think, need to quit teaching. Like some people,
they
it's not
become
their passion.
comfortable and they don't want to change with right.
Yeah.
So in order for you to quit, so even if you wanted people to quit, you have to replace them. So even with education, one of the issues is who's going to replace them. A lot of people don't look at it as being a something that they want to go into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get the point that you need to be able to replace them because I remember when my mom, some teacher was out in math and they wanted her to teach math and she had to do it for a few days and it was like very worrisome for her because she wasn't really a math teacher. She was a science teacher and she was a special ed teacher. So, I mean, I get that, but it's just like I've dealt with teachers where you could tell they didn't have, they had zero passion. They could care
They have lost
less.
their passion for it.
Yeah, they was just there to get a check, and it's like honestly, I don't think maybe in a university, maybe it don't matter, but in certain college campuses, especially local ones, um, what do they call it? City colleges, and then schools, grammar schools, high schools, where you dealing with people who may need motivation, especially boys between the ages of 12 and maybe 16. They need motivation. I think tenure can be a problem. somebody just have a job indefinitely, no matter what. Like, I think that could be problematic.
I think that one of the things that could probably help the situation, because we want people to be motivated to go to their jobs, and unfortunately a job is a job, no different from you may not be motivated to go to yours some days.
Yeah.
And we want teachers to be supermen. Like, no, you have to be, especially when we have our elementary school kids. Like, I want to know that shit is showing up every day, lolly jolly with my child, But realistically speaking, the only way we're going to be able to get that back is we start treating them better. You can't ask for these high achieving people and feed them peanuts, because guess what? They go home and they struggle. They can't pay their bills. They gotta feed kids too. They have worries outside of the school. And sometimes it's not your kid, it's just life. People's career, am I being appreciated? And sometimes appreciation doesn't even come in the form of money. It can be coming in the form of parents appreciating what a teacher does. You know how many parents are against teachers these days? And it's the teacher really wants to help the kid, but you come in with your mouth. And it's like, me and Mistaken will sit here and have a conversation about parents calling, flipping out, being able to cuss you out, and you just take it. Because you can't say anything back. So imagine being in a situation, and I am by no means, because there are some bad teachers just for no reason. I'm not talking about those teachers. We're talking about beating up good teachers who have lost the passion, not because of the students, but because of their parents, because they're not being paid, like they're not being appreciated, because of the system. There's so many things that are outside of the kid that they can handle the kid. Because I think most teachers genuinely love their students, even the bad ones. Sometimes you love the bad ones a little bit more. You want to give them a hug. But when you have stressors yourself, because unfortunately, me and Mistaken are in the school system that actually pays. I could not imagine taking what I do here and going to Alabama and getting half of my pay. What? Like, I could imagine and this is majority of the states. Majority of cities and states don't pay their teachers. There's only like maybe 5 or 10, maybe 5 cities that actually pay their teachers well, and I just so happen to live in one of them. But imagine those teachers in South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, and those people who are like, their cap is where we begin. Their cap in 30 years is where we start our teachers out here. Like, how fair is that? And they wake up every morning, they're dedicated to it. They put up with your kids, the same kids that you can't even put up with for an entire day. You cried about at COVID, your kid that you couldn't even handle, and she's got 30 of them, sometimes 35 of them, by herself. And her job doesn't even stop just in the classroom. She has to take it home to grade papers and to do lesson plans. So you have to, it is so much bigger than your kid. And it's because your kid is probably the reason they're still there. That's probably like, what? I be in there like, I hate getting up at 6:40 in the morning. But these kids will make you laugh even when you have a bad day. These kids will find a way. So sometimes it's not even the kid. It's the external issues that.
Can I ask you a question? Is there anything that you've seen consistently, if you was to extrapolate best practices from parents to their kids? Is there something you've seen consistently, like parents who did this had the best results for the kids that I was teaching?
Just showing
parents who didn't show up. And when you do show up, stop thinking your kids don't lie to you. Y'all got some angels, baby. Let me tell you, the teachers, we are here to work with you. Let me tell you, if I teach 150 kids, I don't have time to have something against your one kid. Like, what? Who got time for that? I hate your kid. What? No teacher hates a kid like that. Now, you can come in with your mouth like, y'all got something against my kid. Let me tell you, I had a parent who cussed me out because I called her to tell her kid has had a numerous amount of absences, and she felt like it was my fault that her kid was not walking into the building to come to class. And she felt the need to tell me she was going to F me up. Who, me? baby.
Well, I had a teacher in 3rd grade who told me I was a big fish in a small pond and I wasn't never going to amount to nothing.
Who told you? See, this is the thing. Those teachers need to be fired, but those teachers are not the majority. Because you had one teacher who told you that, but you probably didn't hear. Out of all the teachers you come across, you heard one teacher who told you that, and that's the one teacher who he's talking about who needs to get up out of there. She has to go. So there are bad, just like any company, there are bad employees with any company, and those are the ones we need to find and get rid of. Absolutely, I don't want my child to be a part of that, and I wouldn't want your children to be a part of that. We're talking about the good ones. They're still getting beat up because we keep punishing them for, I don't know what y'all got going on at home.